Hi, I'm Kristen.
Hi, I'm Michelle.
We're readers and writers.
We're sci-fi and fantasy fans, and this is the best of all worlds. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast today. We're going to talk about the second book in a series. I know it's the second, but I think we both just really want to keep talking about this book series, and why not share it with all of you, and then hopefully you all will build the same obsession that we have and join us in reading, what is it, like at least 10 books in the series already or something like that?
I think the 8th one just came out. I don't know. I just finished 3 and picked up 4, so we'll... It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, and I just started 3. I'm like one behind at all times.
If you're here and you've already read the series, please continue following along because we plan to keep reviewing as we keep going. And if you haven't read the series yet, feel free to keep going anyway, but we do highly recommend that you check it out. And so you can come back later once you have read the book.
Yes, and please come back and talk to us about it. We'll probably be like 5 more books forward, but that is okay. Because there's always more stuff to discuss.
So much stuff. I have so many thoughts already about book 3 that I can't talk about today. It's fine. It's fine.
Soon. I just started it, so I didn't get that far. Maybe like, 5 chapters or something like that. So
there are trains.
Yes, there are trains, and okay, we're getting distracted. Let's talk about the one that doesn't have trains.
Aww.
Which is Carl's Doomsday Scenario, Book 2, which is essentially Carl and Princess Donut get down to the 3rd floor, so this book entirely takes place on the 3rd floor, and throughout they are faced with a couple of quests, and those quests cause shenanigans. And then, of course, there's more build-up from what happened in the book 1 around the alien world and those things. So, lots of exciting things happen in this book. And in my opinion, I feel like it elevates it a little bit from book 1. And I know you have a slightly differing opinion.
Yeah, for me, it's pretty much level with book 1. I might even like book 1 just a slightly bit more. And what it comes down to is I thought the plot was stronger in book 1. Book 2, it like meandered a little bit between the quests. It just felt a little random to me. But I thought the character stuff in book 2 was definitely getting stronger compared to book 1. So it kind of balanced out. So they're pretty much even for me. Like it's very close.
That's funny because I genuinely liked the plot a lot more because I felt like there was finally actually a plot, like a through line throughout the whole book. But looking back at it, I can see your perspective a little bit, and I'm sure we'll get into that when we start talking about our less favorite parts of the story, but what are some of your favorite parts of this one?
I think definitely like within the 2 individual quests that are going on in this story, I think there were some really interesting character beats. I really liked the circus quest, which is weird because I usually don't like things that take place in circuses. I don't know why, but usually it's not my thing. But in this case, it really worked, like, just because it was a lot of, like, okay, like, Carl is finding a way to get through this circus quest while also, like, keeping in mind, like, the I'm trying to say humanity, but they're not humans. But you know what I mean. The personhood of these like NPCs.
The creature manatee.
The creature manatee. That makes it sound like they're all like manatees. I wish. But that was just really another like excellent like showcase of like Carl like using his creative thinking, but this time not using his creative thinking to blow things up, but like using his creative thinking to help other people.
He does still blow some things.
I mean, he does still blow things up. That's what he does. It wouldn't be a Dungeon Crawler Carl book if there wasn't at least one explosion. But yeah, there were a lot of instances of like him using creative thinking to help other people, which was cool.
Yeah, no, I definitely liked the creative problem solving. That's probably one of my favorite elements. Like, it takes all the creative problem solving he did in the first book and just ups the ante. Like, especially the outcome of the end of the story was something like I didn't see coming at all. And I was like, okay, well, clearly something has to go right here, but right now I'm not feeling like anything can go right. So I was pretty shocked and surprised and satisfied with the ending of the book, especially.
Yeah, that was cool. It's like, okay, everyone's gonna get blown up. He's like, no, I'm gonna find a way to make that not happen. So it's like I just appreciate that about Carl, that he's like so tenacious. So it's like, even when people are like, you can't save everyone, he's like, gosh dang it, I'm gonna save everyone.
Exactly.
He doesn't take no for an answer. And I love a main character who's just that stubborn. It's great.
Right. And a good person. Like, Carl just proves himself to be a good person over and over and over again. And I really appreciate that. I think in this book, something that I really enjoyed was both of the individual quests for different reasons. Like, I really liked the circus quest. I really like circus things, so I really enjoyed that. And then the main antagonist of that being, like, this necromancer chick who had these cool tattoos. Like, yeah, you sold me at all of that.
Yeah, those tattoos were pretty cool.
Yeah.
I will agree with that.
Yeah. And then the second quest, from the start, was just really well executed, and I love how, like, Mord was like, don't get roped into another quest, dang it, you're already roped in. Let's not dance around the subject. The second quest was, I wish it was just that was the whole book, to be honest, in a lot of ways. Like, I just wish the whole book was the second quest. I really liked the first quest. If there could have been some way to, like, combine them a little bit more or something, that second quest was really, really well executed, but I wanted there to be a little bit more build up to who was actually the mayor, you know?
Yeah, it did. I feel like the first quest for me was stronger than the second quest, and it was kind of for that reason, that like the first quest is like, okay, this makes sense. They got here, they got into this world where we have quests. Great, we go on the quest. That made sense. And then it was just kind of like random, like, oh, here's another quest, I guess. I guess you're on this quest. I guess something's going on in this quest. Why are we doing it? I don't know, because we got it, I guess. It felt just, I guess we were getting into things we didn't like as much, but that is probably my biggest issue with this particular story, is that second quest just felt too random for me, and just it wasn't streamlined enough, and it didn't flow as well into that quest from the original first quest as I would have liked. So
yeah.
Kind of struggled with that a little bit, but there were still some great moments too, so I'm not too mad.
Yeah, I really liked the outcome of that, and like I said, I feel like if it was the whole book, like if the whole book had been just that quest and we had had time to develop it and build it up, I think that would have been very compelling. Like, incredibly compelling. Because it was actually really interesting how, the Owlin lady, not Owlin, there's Skyfell. Close enough, it's clearly based on D&D. But the Skyfell lady was actually the mayor, and she was using multiple generation magic. That was so cool, and you just, like, you hear about it, and then it's gone. Like, it's like in passing. Like, it's like a passing thought that she was using this generational magic. And I wish that had been explored more leading up to it.
Yeah. It did feel like, I mean, obviously, like, the big, soul crystal explosion thing at the end was, like, that was very climactic and exciting, but it did feel a little disappointing that, like, we met her once and it was like, oops, we accidentally blew up the boss. Okay, well, she's dead now.
Yeah, I felt like that could have been a lot more interesting. I still was enjoying it, especially just the pacing overall was just really fast and punchy, and you know I love when a story moves forward quickly. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that. But yeah, I just wanted more from that, especially around the lady. Because we
Mm-hmm.
just meet her once and then she's dead, and then it turns out she was the mayor. And I feel like that deserved more for how big of a reveal that was.
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure.
Any other complaints about the book?
Honestly, that's pretty much it. Like, other than struggling with kind of that part of the plot, I thought this was
Mm-hmm.
really strong. I really liked like the character development, especially like the relationship between Carl and Donut. I thought
Mm-hmm.
got like a lot stronger in this book compared to the first
I
one.
agree.
I really liked kind of that tension of, like Donut, thinking about B, and like Carl being like, "Oh, would Donut leave me for B if she could?" And that whole plot
Yeah.
was that was pretty compelling and had a satisfying wrap up at the end.
Yeah, that was wholesome. That was really wholesome. I've just been really enjoying their dynamic overall and seeing it progress, and especially Donut like maturing so quickly because she kind of started off as a child and she's like slowly coming into her own throughout this. It's fun to watch, I'm not going to lie. I
Yes,
enjoyed it a lot.
I love Donut and Mongo.
Yeah.
It was so wholesome.
Yeah, and I don't know, I thought that was an interesting little like sub theme to have Princess taking care of Mongo, how she sees Mongo not as a pet but as like a part of her family because she's a pet. And so like in a way she's almost projecting more onto Mongo than is really there because she's like subconsciously seeing herself in that, which I thought was really interesting to explore through
Yeah,
such
that's
like a
true.
silly book.
It's like she definitely like treats him more like a child than like a pet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
but it's also so wholesome. And I love the scene where like Donut's unconscious and like Mongo is like fighting desperately to
Yeah, he's
protect her. It's
protecting
just like,
her.
oh, he's such a good boy.
Yeah, Mongo is just the absolute cutest. I wish he had stood out to me more in the first one. I mean, it's like, yeah, they got a dinosaur or whatever, but like to be able to see him develop as well and like kind of get smarter and like they use the triplicate versions of him to do all
Yes.
these like
And he's like, oh, there's
bombing
other versions
plans.
of me, and
Yeah.
panics. And then he's like, wait, no, they're friends.
Yeah,
It's
exactly. Oh,
so
it's just
cute.
literally me.
I
Yeah,
love Mongo.
exactly. I love Mongo as well, but my favorite character, especially after book 2, he was definitely on my radar book 1, but book 2 he became my favorite, and that is Mord. I love his character so much. He's becoming so intriguing to me.
Interesting. Yeah, Mordecai's an interesting character. Like, you can just tell he has a lot of like traumatic history
Oh,
with
right.
the dungeon
Yes.
crawl. It's like, I want to know more. I want to know what he's been through. And there's hints of stuff that went on with him and Odette, which is interesting
Exactly.
too. It's like, I want more. What is up with you? Like, why are you the way you are?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I also just like how he's slowly starting to like Carl and Donut, even though he tries to act like he doesn't. He's clearly like becoming attached to them, which he tried not to, right? Because he's seen many, many a dungeon where crawlers keep dying, so he's trying super hard not to get attached to them. And yet he ends up becoming their manager and almost like forced to be more attached to them. But it worked out because he does like them, even if he gets annoyed with them.
He's constantly getting annoyed with them. It's kind of great.
But they're kind of reckless, so I don't blame him. He's
Yeah.
like, can you just listen to the advice I give you?
Yeah, Mordecai and Carl, not the best combination because Carl is
No.
just like, improvise, do something super risky, make it work out somehow.
Polar opposites, yeah.
Mordecai's like, no, we are going to plan, we are going to do this strategically, we're going to think everything through before we do it. And Carl's like, YOLO.
Yeah. Don't take that quest. I kind of got forced into a quest. She said that if I don't come back, she's gonna kill me. Oh, it's too good. It's too good. Who's your favorite character in this book?
I mean, other than Mongo just being the best, I I really enjoyed like Carl's journey in this book. I think he was definitely becoming a more interesting character to me in this book, especially with just the ways he was like trying to solve problems by, you know, both explosions and also nonviolent methods. Like the combination of the two, it was just really seeing his strengths at play, and then also that dynamic with Donut becoming a little more like interesting and fleshed out.
Right.
I think I'd say he was my favorite character in that particular book.
That's fair. And that was actually the character development I've been waiting for. Like, I didn't like the first book, well, that particular element of the first book, because I felt like there was almost no development for Carl. Whereas in the second book, it was just all developed. Like, I actually felt like he was changing throughout the entire... I mean, I guess it started with a literal change of himself to a primordial, but his character and his decision-making process was morphed and changed by what was happening, and he was processing it and dealing with the ramifications of his decisions and starting to deal with more complex political situations, like even just with Helga and like the whole, if he isn't, I mean, she's probably gonna kill him or try to.
Yeah.
You know, it's coming. I'm waiting for that showdown.
Yeah. I won't say what happens, but there's definitely they definitely meet in book 3, I'll just say that.
It seems inevitable based on what's happening so far, but yeah. I look forward to this. But I guess that brings us to then, what is your favorite scene?
Yeah, so for my favorite scene, I have to go with the conclusion to that circus quest. I just kind of the whole thing, that's probably technically more than a scene, but just the whole way that he convinced the showrunners of that quest plot line to like, hey, like, work with me here. And then he ultimately, you know, instead of just being like, I'm gonna burn it all down, like he got like the, you know, the lovers back together, and he found like a peaceful way to resolve the quest, which I thought was just really cool, especially since he's like the big explosion guy. It's like, but he can do more than just big explosions. Like he can create a problem solve in ways that, you know, don't get anyone hurt. And I really liked and appreciated the way that quest line wrapped up. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and actually my favorite scene is also related to that quest, but it's a little bit before, which I think this scene is what gave him the idea to even find a nonviolent solution. So when he was fighting this bear, he had his little lucky scratch card, which either would have threw a really high level fireball or a major healing custard. And what do you know, the first time he uses it, it's custard on this bear, and it does heal the bear of literally everything, including the mold that had been taking over it and causing it to be crazy and controlled by the one, what would you call him, a wizard, a mage,
yeah, some sort of warlocky necromancer type dude.
Yeah, just that whole buildup of how he, I don't know, like her response to being cured and all of that, and it helped him ultimately come up with the nonviolent plan. So that scene really stood out to me in this novel, and it kind of left a lasting impression on me.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair, and that's a good point. That was like a good foreshadowing of the fact that he was gonna ultimately like, hey, maybe I don't have to throw fireballs at this. Maybe I can solve this a different way. So it was a good example of Carl like learning and growing through the process of the book, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. We love seeing an active character who's kind of a goofball, slowly mature on page. It is a lovely sight to behold.
But he still has no pants.
He still has no pants, and he certainly won't be getting them now, because I wasn't it at the very beginning he got a loot box that randomly, quote unquote, improved one of his items, and it improved his boxers to the point of being like taking it off would be stupid.
Yeah. It's like, no pants, no shoes.
Yeah.
Not allowed.
You're gonna be barefoot in your little heart undies for the rest of the story. Oh goodness, what a good time. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying this whole style. It is a book I never thought I would enjoy this much, and here I am kind of binging it. I'm having too much fun.
Yes. Well, I'm excited for you to read book 3 because that has been my favorite one so far. Probably because trains, but there's also some really good character moments too. Like it gets pretty good. So
well,
excited to talk about that one.
I'm sure it won't take me long given my history with the last two. For those of you listening, if you've read it, please tell us everything. Tell us all your thoughts. What's your favorite scene? What's your least favorite scene? What made you mad? What made you sad? Tell us everything down below in the comments. Right after you like and subscribe.
Yes, yeah. Especially follow us and join us for our next reviews. So
yes.
We are certainly continuing on. Literally, I've finished book 3 already, so
exactly.
The train is rolling down the tracks.
Choo choo. Well, thank you all for listening, and we will see you next time.
Thanks.